All right, part 1144, Intermodal Railroad Competition. 1144-1, Negotiation. 1144-2, Prescription. 1144-3, General. 1144-1, Negotiation. Time on at least 5 of the day for the prior check for the prescription throughout for the route with the joint route with the reciprocal switching for the part of the intent with the initiate with the such action must first seek to engage negotiation or resolve the dispute with the perspective of the defendant of the participation or the failure to participate with the negotiation does not waive the party's right to file with the timely request of the prescription. Arbitration of the parties may with the arbitration part of the negotiation process lieu of litigation before the board. 1142 2, the prescription jumble throughout the route throughout the rate with the prescribed under Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 1075. Switch arrangements shall be established under Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 1110-2C with the board to determine the prescription of the establishment necessary with the remedy to prevent any of the contrary with the competition policy of Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 10101. Otherwise, the anti-competitive with otherwise satisfy certain Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 1075 and 1110-2C. The appropriate make of the determination board shall take into account of the role rather than factors include with the revenues involved with the railroads, effective with the traffic of the railroad routes. If the question efficiency for the railroad route, the question include with the cost of the operating of the routes, the rate of the compensation chart for the shelf to be covered the railroad with which for the prescription of the establishment is sought, the revenues found with the prescription involved with the railroad's traffic question v. the effect of the cost involved with the railroad for the traffic v. the route with the ratio of the revenue for the cost of the circumstance relevant to any of the difference for these rows ratios, provide with the more or less of the revenue if affected the carrier shall not be debated defined with the prescription establishment of the necessary to remedy with the prevent with the contrary with the competition stand with the section that either the complaining of the shipper has about you with the throughout the route through the route throughout the rate with the reciprocal switching of the meet the sufficient portion of the current with the future railroad transportation needs between the origin and destination complaining with the complaining comparer has used or would use the effect throughout the rate through a rate reciprocal switching and switch significant amount of the traffic. Other consideration of the board with the will not be considered for the petition if the railroad wishes to rely on any of the way of the graphic competition with the burden of the proof of the existing effect with the geographical competition, clear and convincing evidence prescription throughout the thorough rate with the reciprocal switching necessary with the remedy with the prevent with any contrary with the competitive standard with the section with the overall revenue inaccuracy with the defendant of the railroads will not be based for the denying of the prescription. Any proceeding under the term of this section will conduct with the conclude with the board with the expedited basis. 1144-3 with the general with the rules of the governing of the board of junction with the individual cases pending on or after the effective date with the rules of October 31st, 1985. The discovery of these rules governed with the board general rules as discovered in Title 49 CFR 1114. Any of the board determination finding of the department with the compliance with non-compliance within the standard 1144-2 shall not be given any res judica collateral estoppel effect with the litigation involved with the same fact with the controversy arising under the antitrust law of the United States. Part 1146, expedited relief of the service emergencies.